All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have an opportunity to celebrate a client who's what we call a diligent doer, somebody that doesn't just want to know what to do, but somebody who wants to apply what they're learning. We call this person not an ask hole. An ask hole is somebody who asks a question but doesn't want to actually implement what they're learning, because we know here that vision without execution is hallucination, to quote Thomas Edison. Vision without execution is hallucination. We know that knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote Napoleon Hill. Knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote Napoleon Hill. And I'm fired up for you to hear the story about today's guest. Tavis, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Hi. Oh, we are doing amazing, doing it rocking and rolling. So
I got to ask you, for people that want to go to your website, what's the web address we need to go to verify you're not a hologram?
FullArmorWindowsDoors.com.
FullArmorWindowsDoors.com. I'm pulling that up right now. And what do you guys do? What are the services that you guys provide?
Well, we started windows and doors. We have our own in-house installers, but actually started doing a little break into roofing, siding, and now we're kind of looking at some other options too to expand our full list of services. So,
now,
but right now we're rocking.
How did you guys first come in contact with us? I know you guys service Nebraska and Iowa. How did you first come in contact with us?
Your show is how we found you, and then reached out to you and haven't looked back.
How long have we had the opportunity to work with you guys?
Since 2021 is when we started, just beginning of the year.
My understanding is you're having a record sales month. Is that accurate, or is that hyperbole?
No, that is accurate. We had 1 week where we hit 184,000, and that was 1 week. So every week past that, that month we hit, I think it was around 250 in the month, and one sale alone was 115.
Wow. So for people out there that are kind of discouraged or doubtful, I talked to a guy this week, true story. I go to church with this guy. And he came to our business workshop because his pastor told him to. His pastor said, "You need to go." He said, look, I am your pastor of your church and I go there. You should go. You should look into it. How would you describe what the coaching experience has been like for you, for people out there that are on the outside kind of looking in?
I meet with Andrew every week. We kind of go, we have an agenda. We start with our normal, just going through the metrics. What did we sell? What's our what do we have outstanding? How many leads did we get in, and where did those leads come from? And then did we do what we were supposed to do in terms of metrics? And then from there we have an agenda. Did we write our content? Did we do all the tasks assigned to us for the week? And then we just kind of review, and then after that, then we kind of see what our hangups are, and if I'm having trouble with something, then we kind of work through that.
How would you describe who your ideal and likely buyer is? Like if someone's listening right now, who could buy products or services from you guys?
Any residential homeowner. So anyone that owns a home. So for windows, doors, roofing, if you own it, we can help you.
Anywhere in the United States?
We're pretty much right now in Nebraska. We do a little in Iowa as well. So, but that's kind of our main service right now. But at the same time, we're going to, probably look into some other options as well.
Now, I'm going to put this up here because I want people to understand the totality of what we do or don't do. What I found is early on as a young guy in business, I reached out to a business consultant, and I'm not going to mention the guy's last name or his name of his company, but his first name was Bruce. And Bruce, God bless him. I was, 18, 19 years old. And I said, "Bruce, I need to grow my company, djconnection.com. I don't know how to grow it. I'm stuck. I'm working 3 jobs, Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. Could you help me grow my business?" And Bruce says, oh yeah. And Bruce used to say, he was kind of East Coast guy. And he'd say, "Oh yeah, baby, I can help you. Oh yeah." And then we would meet. He'd say, "Clay, you just got to work on your business, not in your business. You got to work on your business, not just in it, but you got to work on it." And these things were helpful, but he never really walked me through specific moves that I needed to actually do. So it was very theoretical, but not necessarily practical. So I want to get into the practical here, into the tactical, the practical. So as we look at my book here called A Millionaire's Guide How to Become Sustainably Rich, box 1, we got to establish our revenue goals. And I'm not asking you for what your revenue goals are, but does your organization have your revenue goals clearly determined?
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew's been helping us define all those as well.
Now, the second box, you have to know the break-even numbers. I mean, you could be excited. I could be excited, but I just had a conversation with my wife about one of our businesses and what the break-even number is. And it's very important that everybody out there knows the break-even number if you have a business. Do you feel good about the break-even number?
I do. I do. We've been able to offset some things too to help make that a little bit lower to help make everything profitable. But really at the same time, that's where we really had no idea what it was when we first started. We're like, well, I guess it makes sense that we have that, and it really does. And it's given us a benchmark to start, and then after that, then it's just celebration after that too. So
now this is my schedule. And this is a typical week for me. And I block out my time into half-hour blocks. And that's what I do, so I wasn't shocked that we were going to interview you today, nor were you shocked that I was going to interview you. And so the time blocking is a critical thing, but most people, the average American, does not time block. In fact, Nielsen right now, Nielsen reports, this is a real thing, I'm not making this up. Nielsen now reports the average American now spends 11.3 hours per day distracted by media. 11.3 hours a day. What? 11.3 hours per day.
Wow.
Distracted by media. So I know Andrew has worked with you guys on building a sustainable schedule. Do you have clarity now as far as how many hours a week you're going to work and what you're going to be doing during those hours?
Absolutely. And actually that was a huge game changer, just having that all spelt out and time blocked and to-do lists, all of it. I used to have stickies everywhere, and sometimes I still use it as memory, but my desk was covered, and putting it into to-do list and start blocking it, and then it's been easy ever since. Now, it is the biggest game changer.
Now, box number 4 is determining your unique value proposition. So if you had to describe what you guys do at Full Armor that separates you from the pack, what would that be?
A lot of it's our in-house installers, but we were just talking about this with the group. It's our attention to detail and quality, where we hear stuff around where people are slapping windows in and leaving, and where, a lot of our feedback comes from hey, these guys take that extra mile just to make sure things are done right and they look nice. So we hear it a lot, and to me, that's what really separates us.
Now, branding, I know working with you, that's something that a lot of people get excited about. However, I will tell you folks, that's an event, not necessarily a process. That's where you make your website look first class. That's where you work on your website to make it look great. That's where you work on your logo, your print pieces, your videos. You're optimizing the branding, and branding is what people see. So branding is the opinion that somebody has, or the reaction somebody has when they first think about your product or service. And on part 2 of today's show, I'm going to do a deep dive with Michael Levine, the world's most celebrated public relations person of all time. He'll be on part 2 of today's show. This was the PR guy, the branding guy for Nike, for this real story, for Charlton Heston, for George Carlin, the comedian. This is the branding person of choice for, at the same time, he represented both Bill Clinton and George Bush. Wow. This guy, this is Michael Levine. And for people there that don't know who Michael Levine is, again, I'm going to pull it up. This is like the world's top PR guy, and we're going to do a deep dive into it. He's written books about it. He's been celebrated for doing it. He was the PR consultant for Prince and for Michael Jackson at the same time. He's been written about in Variety, Forbes, New York Times, and you can write whole books about it, and he has. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure your branding looks first class. And at FullArmorWindowsDoors.com, FullArmorWindowsDoors.com, you guys have done that. Can you talk about the branding and how much that's impacted your business?
Well, got one right here on already. So it's recognizable. Everyone knows our logo now. Even just the simple things like wrapping the trucks, wrapping our trailers, having it on the website. Like, people are recognizing us. They're like, oh, we've had installers come in before. Like, I've seen you around town and had to check you out. So, and it's been great because now people just anywhere are like, oh yeah, I've seen you around and things like that. So it's been huge and been a great help.
And for folks that don't know this, we charge a flat fee of $1,700 a month. We charge $1,700 per month. And then my goal with all my clients is to enter into what I call a non-equity partnership. So a lot of my clients, when you come to conferences, you'll discover I've worked with clients for 7 years, or wow, this guy's Clay, you've worked with the same client for 12 years. One of my clients, I've actually worked with this client for 15 consecutive years. And so people, when they come to a conference, they feel like they're part of a family. And again, we charge $1,700 a month. It's a flat rate. And with those non-equity growth partners, we get a small percentage of the growth. And that's something we can talk about later. But how has it been for you guys, knowing that you're all of this, the implementation of all this, graphic design, photography, video, web, search engine, everything is all fitting into that $1,700 flat monthly set it and forget it price?
There's so much that you guys do for that price, and along with it, then we're just growing constantly. I mean, even just this short amount of time we've been on, you probably already heard the phone ring a handful of times already. So, I mean, it's all but just been amazing, amazing, and everything like that. So.
Now, for the sake of time, I want to totally respect your time today, but I also want people to know we help you with your sales conversion process, the scripts, the recorded calls, the one sheets, the pre-written emails, helping you determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs, building checklists and processes for everything, whether it be onboarding a new hire, whether it be installing something. We got to build checklists and systems for everything. Then we have to teach management systems, how to manage employees, which would work off of the idea that we also help finding employees. So many business owners today say they can't find employees, let alone manage them. This is all of the things that we do. We help you learn how to hire, inspire, train, and retain top quality people. But I want to get your thoughts on this, and I want to respect your time. For people out there that are thinking about going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling a consultation, it's a free consultation. It's a free 13-point assessment. What would you say to anybody out there thinking about it?
I would say, why are you still thinking about it? I'd say giving a call, because I mean, proof's in the pudding, so we've been doing great. And I mean, there's no sense in hesitating at this point. I've listened to the show. I've been a partner for how long? Since 21. Everything is knowledge, and there's no reason to be holding back and not making that call. Absolutely.
And how much has the coaching, how much have you grown since we started working with you, as far as a percentage, if you had to factor in a percentage or maybe some sort of stat in terms of growth? Because obviously this week, I have the notes pulled up here, this week we're celebrating, and this is so important for people to know this. You should look this up, folks. We're celebrating the best sales week ever, $186,243 of sales. How much have you grown since we started working with you?
We're 100 and probably 35 to 45% growth.
Wow. And again, you're a real person, real business. I'm going to pull up the website one more time, folks, so you can see it. And if you're out there today and you're discouraged or you feel like you don't have what it takes to do it, folks, we have a proven plan. Everybody, you can implement the proven plan. We have in-person workshops you can come to. We have one-on-one coaching. If you go to fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, you can see a recent testimonial with today's guest. But if you want to see thousands, some people like to go up here and just watch these until their head explodes. I talked to a guy this weekend, and he told me, he said, Clay, I have watched, I think, all of the testimonials. I said, you have? And he says, oh, yeah. And I said, that's incredible. Wow. And he said, I went through, I scrolled down, and I hit play, and they were great. And I said, did you click the button where it says see thousands of additional testimonials? And he said, there's more? And I said, well, yeah, we have over 2,000 and we enumerate them. So we actually know this is a verifiable fact. We don't have, hundreds. I mean, we have thousands of video testimonials, and that works for our business because we document the success, but it also works for your business. Could you share how, in closing, how has gathering objective reviews via video and Google, how has that impacted and improved or changed your sales process? Because again, somebody out there today, they're looking on the outside going, I just don't see that I could ever grow my business like that. How has gathering objective Google reviews, video reviews, and building that gallery impacted fullarmorwindowsdoors.com?
Well, the easy answer is we've grown 135%. So there's that. But we could tell a huge difference from the moment we started getting more of those reviews. we had a jump initially that we jumped like 40 reviews in like a week or so, and all of a sudden that phone started ringing like constantly. It boosted us. Similar with the video testimonials, people that go to our website are like, well, you guys are doing something right. You got all these people that are even just talking about you on video. So it adds a trust layer to any potential customers out there for sure.
And again, that domain, it's a little bit of a tricky domain for people that are looking at it for the first time. Just to be clear, it's fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, fullarmorwindowsdoors.com. And I'll sneak in one final question. I think a lot of people will reach out to me and they say, Clay, what's the most important thing you do to grow businesses? And some people want to hone in on marketing. Some want to hone in on accounting. Some want to hone in on hiring. Some want to hone in on sales. Let me try again. There's how I look at it is there's 4 major boxes. Some people want to hone in on marketing. Some want to hone in on sales. Some want to hone in on hiring. Some want to hone in on accounting. I would argue it's all of those all of those areas, all 14 areas of the business growth path are needed to achieve success, not just one. I'd love to get your reaction to that as a longtime client who's having success. Because you know how it is. When you come to a conference, people ask you, what's the one thing you did that changed the game? I'd love to get your reaction to that.
Well, I'm kind of on the same. It's everything. It's all parts, because the marketing helps bring the sales. And once we start growing, we got stuck. We're like, well, shoot, we need more people to help service all these people now. So having a plan and hiring, so it all works hand in hand. It really does. And so when it comes to one thing, one thing sets a domino effect of everything else. And that's the only way for it to grow. We can't just focus on the marketing, otherwise then everything else would go. So it's the whole package that really makes everything successful.
Now, coaching is all about, accountability. 1, you got to have someone hold you accountable. 2, you got to know what to do. And 3, you got to have someone who can help you do it. What am I saying? 1, you have to have the accountability. 2, you have to know what to do. And then 3, you have to have someone that can help you through it if you get stuck. How would you describe the coaching experience? We have a weekly meeting. It's a weekly meeting. It's a flat fee. But how would you describe that weekly coaching meeting with Andrew and our team?
We have a checklist. We go through our agenda of here's what you need to do next week. And then so when we're having our meetings, it's, did you do this? How did it go? What do we need to do from there? So it's everything you just said. It's we have a plan. Andrew's keeping me accountable. And then we're discussing then as well of what our next step is, and having that person to communicate with and talk to, like, here's what's going on. Like, what do you suggest? And you don't always have that person sometimes, depending on what it is. And, Andrew can answer all the questions we have. And if he doesn't, he knows how to get it and, have the answer shortly soon, and it all, it's just great. Otherwise, it's easy to drop off and be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll do it next week or something. But you have that one guy, Andrew, calling you, like, where you at with this? Like, yeah, I need to do that. So if you miss one at the time, you're like, okay, I shouldn't do that again.
Now, if you had to describe what we do in like a sentence, maybe, like if you had to say, or maybe sentences, I won't try to paint you into a corner, but sentences for somebody how would you describe in a sentence or sentences what we do?
Business coaching services. And that's really it's a whole program that really helps grow everything. It's I thought, at one point, like, oh, okay, we got to do all this. And in one sentence, it's just the coaching and helping create a legitimate, profitable business.
Brother, I am so honored to know you and to have you on the show. And for people that want to verify, we know your first name's Tavis. What's your last name so people can look you up and verify you're not a hologram?
Tavis Hine. Hine's the last name.
Tavis, yep. I really do appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
You.
You guys are first class there. And again, folks, that website, if you haven't been to it, it's fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, fullarmorwindowsdoors.com. Take care, sir. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. All right. Thank you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta. Again, this acta non verba. What it means is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour's up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it, it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Deeds, not words. So acta non verba, deeds, not words, or acts, not words. James, a lot of people, they come to our business workshops because they're listening to our podcast, our business podcast, and they say, man, I want to achieve massive success. And they see some of the testimonials and they go, if that guy could do it, I could do it. That's kind of where it starts.
I see it happen all the time, Clay.
Because your desk is about 2 inches from mine, I think.
Right.
And so people will say, oh, if that guy can do it, then I can do it.
That's correct.
So the 2 big principles I want to teach on today's show, just 2 principles. One is this idea of acta non verba, means acts, not words. The second concept I want to teach is that money is a magnifier.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I have been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing $3 million. This year we'll do $24 million.
Which is more than, and he's an accountant. So we're going to talk about that. So Paul introduced me to Bob because he said there's a guy that came into my office looking to raise some capital. I think that was the thing. And he needed to get some sales going. That's how. And so if we tell Paul, from the accounting perspective, I'll pass the mic to you. You do accounting. Why do you have to have a website that makes sense and all that branding stuff. How has that impacted your brand, having websites and all those branding things in place?
Well, when I met you, like most CPAs, I thought my clients only come from referrals, but we get 500 leads in a 2-month period every month just off of Google. And so this is my face. We have 17 offices across 4 states. We have in every state, but this is our face. Like what you were saying, it's visual, and it also us to say why we're different. That about us from there is spectacular, and it just it's an industry that is changing. We're modifying it. We offer our services in a subscription model to where it's all inclusive, and it's just been awesome.
Will determine the level of success.
So success in business is not what you know how to do, it's actually doing it. And so the thing that I would tell you is stop it. Get a freak like this guy and let him go after it. Insane, because then you can be doing what you do well and take that time and invest in something else on top of that as contacts. And I don't get anything for selling his, just telling you what he's done for us so that we could focus. And then he'll come in and I'll say, I think I've got it all. And he listens for 5 minutes and he makes one, and I want to slap myself in the face. Well, why didn't I think about that? That's idiotic. But they're sick freaks. They just get it done.
I don't know. I think it's because it's merit-based pay in their office. So if the people here, like, they get paid. So if we were taking on your account and someone else to do this, but if you hired a different marketing company, I'm just giving you best practices. You want to make sure that they win when you win. So like in our office, if we grow Dave Asay's podcast, that benefits our company to the extent it benefits them, but we actually benefit if they benefit. Does that make sense to you?
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
So on today's show, I'm going to just hammer testimonials. So you can see people that heard about the conference through a podcast or through a friend or whatever, and they had a business that was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It wasn't thriving. It was just surviving, right? It was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It was just stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't thriving, it was surviving. And they heard about the podcast, they heard about the conference, they heard about the success stories, and they came to the conference. That's step one. They came to the conference. And by the way, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com, you can name your price for all the workshops I do. We want to make it affordable for everybody. So they came out to the in-person 2-day workshop. They went to Thrive Time Show. They requested a ticket. We called them, got them their ticket. Then James, we interviewed them after the conference, and we said, how was it?
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The goal setting, well, it's not like it's somewhat basic stuff. Making sure we have different goals for every part of your life is super important. Also, the linear workflow. The linear workflow for us in getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
And they said, oh my gosh, I learned so much about business. I learned about the workflows and the marketing and the search engine optimization and the branding and the hiring and the checklists and all this, the bookkeeping, the search engine optimization, the online advertising, the social media. I learned it all. Woo! Yes, I learned it. However, it's acts, not words. Acta non verba. So James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this stuff, but they don't apply it, what happens?
Nothing happens.
But there is a certain group of people not our listeners, who run around acquiring information and they don't apply it.
Those are the worst types.
So this is what happens is Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author, he says that knowledge without application is meaningless. Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing, I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Knowledge without application is meaningless. So, James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this and they don't apply it, that doesn't matter, because the idea is acta non verba, acts not words. So if people come to this conference, you're going to see testimonies of people who came to the conference and they say, wow, I had no idea that this was possible. And then you're going to see people, I'm going to show you testimonials of people that applied what we taught them. People that have grown their accounting practice. Now, by the way, in accounting practice, this is not someone who has invented the concept of accounting. There's other accounting. This just in. There are other accountants.
My business, it consists, I'm a CPA and a financial advisor, and we're very successful. I wanted to go from successful to systematic. I wanted to learn systems and processes so that the business can run without me.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But this person, they came to the conference, they learned about how to scale their company. I taught them how to create a subscription model for their accounting as opposed to doing the traditional accounting model. And they've grown the company from $3 million to over $20 million. Wow. Then you're going to see a testimonial, a success story of a home builder who grew the home building business from 15 million to over 150 million, a home builder. And by the way, this just did. There are other home builders, but this home builder grew from 15 million to 150 million of sales.
That's life-changing, Clay.
You're going to hear about a dog trainer who came to this event. Now, let me tell you about the dog trainer. He came to this event, and he had a wonderful business that was it was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't able to grow. He was a great guy, knew how to train dogs, but he didn't have a no-brainer offer. He didn't have a website that was optimized. He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one sheet.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live 2 years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one sheet, didn't have a pricing structure that worked, didn't have a linear workflow, didn't have an office culture environment, didn't have decoration in the office that would make people want to work there, didn't understand the process of hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining great people, didn't have a pro forma, didn't know how to franchise, didn't know how to license. But what we do, James, is we take people in, they come to the conference, they learn this stuff, and they go, could you teach me how to do it? And I say, absolutely. Now, folks, here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small. What? Here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small.
Favorite aspect is probably just how entertaining it is, and the fact that I pick up one or two or three things every time I come to take my business to the next level. Well, if people are missing out on basically a plan, a guaranteed plan, pretty much if you're willing to work it to be successful. Most people, I think everybody should attend one of these workshops at least once, because you don't know what you don't know, and we're not taught to be successful in school.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
A lot of people, they have a fear or a phobia of scaling their business or building the processes. They feel like they don't know what to do, or they need kind of a coach or a mentor to guide them down the path. And so on today's show, you're going to see people that came to a conference, step one. Step two, we taught them how to apply these principles at the conference. Step three, they hired us to help them scale their company. Step four, you're going to hear their success stories. Now, James, money is a magnifier.
We have a little bit of news for you guys. It's now what, May 31st at 6:21. You've been closed for 20 minutes?
Right.
No, it's now June, so let's run the numbers for May. Let's see what he's got.
Totals 102,837.
What's last year to date? 102,837 this year?
And last year was 60,667. Whoa! Coming out of the weeds now.
Boom, baby.
Boom! Out of the weeds, onto the pavement.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
What does that mean? Because we're going to share with you some stories today of an accountant who grew a business from $3 million to $20+ million, of a home builder who grew a business from $15 million to $150 million, of a dog trainer that was able to scale his business from a stagnant business to 15+ locations, to grow the business that was perpetually stuck at 400,000-ish, grow that into a $1 million+ annual revenue.
This year's sales for this week.
So this is the same week last year. Do you see the difference? Look.
Wait a second, I can't really tell. One is,
Look.
Michael, can we just I just want to get it. Jason, can you kind of pull this end maybe? Just so you can see it. Let's kind of pull it that way. Let's get the length. That's more of a, I can't tell the length. It's hard to tell.
Look at that. Okay.
So that was last year's sales.
This is last year's sales. And the total is a mere $4,711.73. Same week this year, 2015. The total is, read it, Michael.
$11,313.50.
Oh, boom! There it is.
What?
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kolaw. We'll see you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.